guys, welcome back to Justin Reads Romance and Happy New Year. Today we're going to be talking about what I plan for the year 2022. And also I just wanted to reflect back on the year of 2021. I do plan on doing like a yearly wrap up and all that, but I'm so excited. 2022, oh my gosh, new goals, new authors to discover. It's just a world of possibility. And I don't mean that to sound cliche, but when I look back on 2021, seeing how many authors were new discoveries that now have become like all-time favorite authors, it just makes me so giddy, and I'm just so excited to see what happens this year. So last year I had goals, big plans. I knew that audiobooks were going to be something that I was going to be leaning on, and I'm very curious to see with my end of the year wrap up if audiobooks kind of were my crutch that I used to get through the year and read as many books as I did. I was very excited to implement Airtable. I did do a video last year on Airtable and how I use it to keep track of my books, because I do like Excel spreadsheet, but Airtable just makes it very user-friendly for someone who's tracking books, and I just really like the way that I did it. It makes it easy to keep track as opposed to Goodreads, where I find it hard to keep track of my rereads on Goodreads. It doesn't always work. So using Airtable, comparing my books read on my Airtable that includes all my rereads that I did for the year to my Goodreads goal, my challenge, it's more than 100 books are not included on the Goodreads challenge. So it was just very interesting to look at. I read a lot more than I thought I was capable of, and I'm just really looking forward to lots of great books. I'm not going to set myself challenges or goals like I did last year, because I ultimately failed at them. I know that I wanted to do reviews for every book that I read, like on Goodreads or Amazon, and I actually scaled back on the reviews that I did do, because I used to do quick reviews on my Instagram story, but they're quite time consuming. Any reviews are quite time consuming now that I'm in school. I don't have that extra time on top of everything else that I do with like the podcast and then video editing for YouTube. I had to sadly scale down on that, and I hate not being able to include reviews for the books that I've read. And one of my goals once I'm done with school is to go back, especially for books that really impacted me, and go leave reviews for them, because it's just like, it makes me really sad. So I'm not going to dwell on that. I'm going to focus more on the books that I'm excited about in the first half of 2022. I decided to break it up in two because I mostly read indie authors. Unlike traditionally published authors who have their dates set in stone more than a year in advance sometimes, some of the indie authors won't even tell you until maybe a month or two before release date what their next book is, or the blurb, or anything. So I have a couple books that I have found that I definitely want to read for the first half of 2022, and I'm going to start talking about the ones that I'm really excited about. So first off, and I am going in order that they're supposed to be released in, and dates are subject to change, we have Scarred by Emily McIntyre. This is the second book in her Never After series. I did read Hooked, and these are fairy tale retellings with the villain as the hero. And I really liked what she did with Hooked. It was like a revenge plan, and I purposely have not really read into Scarred. I love this book cover so much. It gives me so much vibes. I'm just really excited about it, and oh god, every time I think of The Lion King, it has one of the best villain songs ever, and I just love it. I literally could listen to Scar's song like over and over again. It just like gets me really hyped. So I'm excited to see what he is like as an anti-hero. Oh, and that book is coming out on January 4th, so one of the first books of the year. Then we have Juniper Hill by Devney Perry. This is the second book in her Eden series. Well, she does have a novella that kicks off the series, but it's really not necessary to read the Christmas and Quincy book before you read Indigo Ridge. And Juniper Hill is about Knox, who is the chef at the inn. The Eloise Inn is kind of like a staple in all of the books, and it's where a lot of the townspeople go to gather. They have a really nice restaurant there, and Knox is the head chef over there. They have hired a new housekeeper, and at the end of Indigo Ridge, we meet her, and I feel so sorry for this girl already. Her name's Memphis, and she like moved cross country, and she has a newborn baby with her. And she's gonna be living in the above garage apartment of Knox's house. So forced proximity, I can't wait. I love this single mom baby. I'm very curious to see what kind of hero Knox is going to be. We did see a lot more of Knox in the Christmas novella, actually, and I did like his character. We'll see how he turns out in his own book, but I'm very excited about this series. I really like Devney Perry's small town vibe that she creates with each of her series. That one's out on January 11th. Then I have The Siren of Sussex by Mimi Matthews. Toward the end of December, I read the novella that she published, A Holiday by Gaslight, and I really loved it. It had a lot of North and South vibes, and I love North and South. So I want to read a full-length novel by Mimi Matthews. I have a couple of hers, and I just haven't gotten to them yet, but I saw that she was going to have a new release. Now, this does have more of like an illustrated cover. It's not as bad as others that I've seen. You know, I prefer clinch covers. I love clinch covers. I want them to be the norm and not the exception with traditionally published books. She is publishing this one with Berkeley, and but this one's not too bad. This one's not too bad, okay? She also writes Victorian historical romances, which I do enjoy. I prefer Victorian to Regency, and mostly because of the fashion. I hate Regency fashion. It very much annoys me, but anyway, that's completely besides the point. And this romance is like scandalous for Victorian times. So our heroine, her name is Evelyn, and she actually comes from a very blue stocking family. She knows that she won't like make a good match like in the ton. She just doesn't have the bloodline for it, but she's an accomplished equestrian. She's also very into fashion, and so she wants to make a bold statement, being the best equestrian that she can be, but also having like these amazing habits that she rides in. And so she approaches this tailor named Ahmed Malik, and he's half Indian. That's who she ends up by falling for. And I really love that both of these characters are pretty ambitious. Like, he wants to be known for his like haute couture, and he wants to make a name for himself, but obviously pairing with a white heroine would create waves. So I really love this idea of a story, and this is the first book of her Bells of London series. So this is a new series that she'll be writing for Berkeley. Very curious to see how it turns out. I definitely want to read another one of Mimi Matthews' books that she's independently published, just to see what would be the difference between her traditionally published books and her independently published books, because sometimes there's a difference. So I would just be interested to compare those. That one's also coming out on the 11th. Then of course, Monroe, the book that everyone's been anxiously anticipating from Cressley Cole. Oh my God. Okay, I love the Hotter and Hotter twins. McCreeve is one of my favorite books in the Immortals After Dark series. I've been saying this for a bunch of videos now, so you're probably tired of hearing it if you've watched them before, but I do plan on doing an Immortals After Dark dedicated video to talk about all the books and what's my favorite and all that jazz, get really hyped up for Monroe. I still have a couple weeks left where I can do that because it's coming out on the 25th. And I don't want to read too much into like the blurbs and the teasers that Cressley Cole has been putting out. I'm very excited already. At the end of McCreeve, there's an epilogue that includes Monroe, and it tells the reader how his mate has been found. So Monroe's in a very precarious position with these like sorcerers, and they've gone like back in time to find his mate. So first of all, she's not even of the present day, and she's been like pulled through time somehow. So she comes from a time where, you know, creatures are like evil. And so I'm very curious to see how this heroine pairs well with Monroe. I really loved him. Monroe was such a stand-up guy in McCreeve. His brother is really suffering, and he was the voice of reason and also a shoulder for his sister-in-law to lean on when they were going through difficult times. And I was just like, you're so lovely, and I want him to get a wonderful HEA. I know Cressley Cole always accomplishes it. She always has these pairings that have to defy the odds to get their HEA, and they always do, and it's very satisfying. So I cannot wait for Monroe. The last book of January that I have seen that I would like to read is Headcase by Onley James. It's the fourth book in her Necessary Evil series. This is an MM series focused on these anti-heroes who are actual serial killers. Their adopted father adopted them for just this purpose. They are psychopaths that he has trained to utilize their inner need to kill and to kill bad guys instead of just random citizens. So this is about one of the twins, one of the murder twins, Asa Mulvaney. And what I really like about the twins is they're so used to being together, and apparently for Asa's book, he needs to be sent on a mission and he needs to go alone. So he's not going to have his other half with him. And apparently his hero, his match, is Zane Scott, and he's a small-time crime blogger and amateur sleuth, and he wants to write for a major paper someday. So I'm wondering if he's going to be caught up in something that Asa's mission, and catch him doing, you know, the murder deed. So I don't want to read too much into it because I've loved this series so much. It was one of my favorite finds of last year. Thank you, Nalika and Virgo Reader, because they're the ones that I heard about it from first. And it's been a blast. I love these Mulvaney murder babies. I just love them. I love them so much. And that should be out at the end of January on the 31st. Now for the first book of February, the only book that I have in February actually is The Plan by Carla Sorensen. This cover was recently released and I'm just very excited. I love her sports romance. I think she writes sports romance, even though it's happening in Seattle, so a big city, it has this small town vibe that's really focused on the relationship. I love The Lie. It was such a great romance. I'm very excited to see what she does with The Plan. So I haven't actually read the blurb since the cover was just revealed. I didn't even look to see if a blurb was included, so I'm gonna look that up right now. Ooh, fake dating a bodyguard. It says, literally the opening line is, "Have you ever fake dated your bodyguard?" I don't recommend it, especially if he's anything like Eric Wilder, former football player. Ooh, so he's not even a football player for Washington Wolves. He's a former one. So interesting. What's the heroine's name? What's her name? Why does she need a bodyguard? Who is she? Okay, Lydia and Eric. Is Lydia one of the younger sisters? Is Lydia one of the younger sisters? Is that Faith's younger sister? I can't remember. You know what? I need to do a reread of The Lie. So that's an excuse. I'm very excited. Very excited. It says Grumpy Sunshine, Sports Romance, Fake Dating Glory. Strong. So that is February 9th. Then I'm really excited about A Brush with Love by Maisie Eddings because she is a bookstagrammer and she is also a dentist. And her book, A Brush with Love, is going to be about a dentist. And that's all I wanted to know about it. I was very happy when she announced last year that she had gotten a deal. I believe she recently had shared that she signed a deal for 2 more books maybe. So I'm really excited about that. I do have an arc for it, which I plan to read one of the first things that I read in 2022, just to make sure that I get that arc read and submitted before the release date, before I'm like in the thick of my semester. So I'm very curious to see what a bookstagrammer can do, knowing as someone who is part of the romance community as a bookstagrammer, what romance readers want. I'm wondering how that book will turn out traditionally published. Then of course, Sophie Lark announced The Savage. The Savage is an unexpected book, a non-planned book that is in the Kingmaker world. So if you read The Spy kind of concluded the Kingmaker series, but there was a pairing that we do find out that they end up together, and everyone was clamoring to actually read their story. So Sophie Lark said that she'd never received more requests for a book to be written than this one, so it's going to happen. This cover, I love this cover so much. She has the hottest covers. I love them. Of course, I think all of her photos are by Michelle Lancaster, so it's no surprise she takes wonderful photos. I love them so much. Anyway, The Savage is about Sabrina and Adric, and Sabrina is a Spitfire. She is hell on wheels. The sparks that were flying in The Spy between them, I was just like, I need to see their romance. I was one of the ones that was like, please, I need to see actually how they get together because she can't go quietly. I know that Adric wants her, but like she's not gonna just give in right away. She's gonna be a hard one to make settle down because I don't feel like she is in the settling down mood when they first meet. So I'm just very, very, very excited about The Savage. That's supposed to be coming out on March 16th. Now, I put this book on my anticipated list and I'm very curious to see how it's going to play out. So I have Fall Boys by Penelope Douglas. This is the first of her Hellbent series, and it's a spinoff from her Bully series, the Fallaway series, I think it's called. I haven't read that series in a very long time, and I haven't loved the books that she has recently published. The last 2 that she's published have not been my favorites of hers, but I'm curious to see if nostalgia is going to make me really love this series. I'm kind of scared to go back and reread The Bully and the rest of the books in the series because it's all their children. It's the next gen. I'm scared, am I gonna like it as much? But I remember reading her novella, I forget which novella it was, and it was kind of like a teaser for the next gen, and I was like, I'm so excited about this. I'm so excited about this. So anyway, this series has been a long time in the making. Penelope Douglas is an indie author that she really just writes what inspires her at the time. So even if she has planned a book, sometimes it's not the right time to write it, so it could be put off for years. And yeah, so this series has been teased for quite a while, and I'm curious to see how it will hold up after so many years removed from the first time that I've actually read The Bully. And that's supposed to come out March 21st. We'll see if that sticks. Then I'm very, very excited. So my Aunt Juliet Cross is publishing with Smarty Pants Romance, and her book is titled Parks and Provocation, and I'm really excited to see. I've already read this book in all of its forms. I've read it before it was even a book that was going to be in the Green Valley universe, because Juliet has wanted to step into contemporary romance, and she was going to write one anyway, but the opportunity came up to write in Green Valley. Green Valley is a world that we both have bonded over and we really love, the Winston brothers. So it's very exciting that her characters are going to actually be a part of Green Valley, and that's her first contemporary that she's going to publish in 2022. It's not the last one that she'll publish in 2022, but it's the first one, and that's going to be released on April 7th, and it's kind of like a second chance romance between not high school sweethearts. The heroine, Lola, had a big crush on Jed in high school, but something happened and they meet again. Her life has not gone to plan, and she's kind of needs a career change, and Jed wants a second chance with her. And I just really love it. It's exciting. I'm very, very excited about it. Then on a completely different note, The Company of Fiends by Catherine Moon. This is a monster romance. So, and it's probably reverse harem. If you've not read The Lady of Rooksgrave Manor, I highly encourage you to do so if you're interested. It's such a fascinating book. It's one of my favorite reverse harems. It's not something that I gravitate to on like the daily, but Catherine Moon has written really great ones. And monsters, man, she just writes them very interesting. I never thought that I'd be so enamored of these monster heroes. Very, very, very lovely. And I do believe there's going to be like a through line. I need to reread The Lady of Rooksgrave Manor. I will be rereading it for the new year, but I feel like there's a through line because there's this big bad that was featured in book 1, and I feel like we're going to continue with that arc, but the heroine's going to be different. So the heroine is Hazel Nix, and she's a performer. She's been a performer for 8 years, and she's kind of getting a little jaded. She's had so many lovers, and she's done this for so long, and she just wants to make a lasting connection, but then something happens, and then girls start going missing. So it is a very adventurous and some high stakes. I just really love the way that Catherine Moon writes. I'm very excited for this book. That should be out on May 25th. And then, oh my God, okay. Brutal Vows by J.T. Geisinger. This is going to be the 4th book in her Queens and Monsters series. It has been the highlight of my 2021 reading experience to read the type of heroes that she comes up with and the heroines to match them. I just really love this series so, so much. And my baby spider, he's gonna get his HEA, and I can't be happier about this. He definitely has a little bit of a broken heart. He's a little bit wounded after book 3, but oh, I trust Geisinger to give him such a heroine that his heart won't be broken for long. I just can't wait. I love Spider so much, and I'm glad that he's going to be getting his HEA. I wonder if Kieran's going to get his too. I'm all for it. So the tentative date for that one is June 1st. And then, of course, I'm really excited for the next book in the Stay a Spell series by Juliet Cross. Always Practice Safe Hex is the 4th book in the series, and Livy is going to be paired with a Grimm. And I just really love the idea of this book so, so much. I love the Savoy sisters. I love seeing the New Orleans that Juliet portrays in her books, because it's a side of New Orleans that I feel like really you don't see in most romance novels that are set in New Orleans. They're mostly set in the French Quarter and all that, and it's just a different vibe. And I just really love this series. I think that the date is actually going to be decided very soon. So there's no concrete date, but it's going to be in early 2022. So I'm just like throwing that one out there. Also, Kennedy Ryan has been posting saying that, you know, her current project has been postponed. It was supposed to be published in 2021, but she just had some life things that have come up and it made it hard for her to finish. So she is hopeful that it will be published early in 2022. So hopefully the first half of 2022. She has not said a word about what it's about, but I'm just throwing it out there. I'm very excited for whatever Kennedy is dishing out. It's going to be probably heart-wrenching, but beautiful in the way that only Kennedy Ryan can do. She's just a fantastic writer, and she writes some of the most epic romances ever. I also have to mention, we haven't really had an announcement for a lot of Alona Andrews books, like the next books in the series. So I'm excited. I don't know when that's going to be, early or late 2022. Lisa Kleypas, where's my announcement for the next book? You can't just leave me with Devil in Disguise, which I loved so much, and not say that you're not going to write Merritt's younger brother at the very least. Like, there's so many next gen books that I would kill for. Like Sebastian St. Vincent and Evie alone, like he's not St. Vincent anymore, but he's still St. Vincent in my heart, have so many kids that we could write for. Like, Lisa, what are you doing in 2022? You're not telling me. So yeah, I doubt that it's going to be early 2022 if she does publish, which I'm like, oh, please publish a book in 2022. Talia Hibbert, I haven't heard anything from Talia Hibbert as far as like new series goes, because she has closed out her Brown Sisters last year, and I'm just like, Talia, please tell me you're writing something soon. I love you. So anyway, I'm looking forward to all of these books. There's so many more. I probably forgot some. I know that I forgot some that are happening in early 2022, and I don't know where my head's at. It's hard to keep track of a lot of indie books, honestly. But please let me know if you know that I want to read a book and I missed it. Tell me in the comments below, or if there's a book that you're excited for that I didn't mention. I'm just so excited for the new year. I'm so excited for new books. I mean, I'm always excited for new books, but you can't keep a bookworm down. I mean, there's always something around the corner. If it doesn't work for you, there's something else for you out there, and it just needs to be discovered. I cannot wait to share my reading journey for 2022 with you all. Thank you so much for supporting the channel for the past year. You've been amazing, especially since I haven't been posting consistently. Thank you so much for being understanding. I've not been putting out the content that I would want to put out, but it's just a temporary thing. I'm not going to disappear from YouTube. I will post as sporadically as I am able, but I'm unwilling to like pause my YouTube content while I am in school. So I'm still going to be here just sporadically to say hey and tell you about the books that I'm squeezing in between studying. So I wish everyone luck with their 2022 TBR, and I can't wait to see what the new year brings. If you like this video, give it a big thumbs up, and if you're not already subscribed to my channel, make sure you subscribe to get notified of any future videos that I do. Thank you so much for watching, and remember, life's better with a little HEA. Bye guys!